Bull Ron back with you. Voice a little better, but not great. I think I talked too much when it was hurting me. So anyway, I'll just kind of talk quiet today. Hope you'll be able to hear me okay. I don't want to push it too much. Didn't hardly speak all weekend. Definitely got a lot better. Let me just jump over on X, make sure people can hear me over there. Hope you'll be able to hear me okay. I don't want to push it too much. Didn't hardly speak all weekend. Put a little GM and yeah, not a bad Monday. I said if we could open close to, if we could hold close to, honestly, if we could hold anywhere close to 65,000, I'd be pretty happy. And here we are, 64,864. Gonna lose this little window. I don't like to, my lighting is so poor down here. I keep meaning to upgrade it. But I've been just too busy. Hope you had a great weekend. I did a nice hike last night in the mountains. Felt good. Get back at it. Got to start exercising more, eating less, man. Doing my thing. But yeah, holding the 64,877. I think that's okay. Futures were kind of flat. Let's see where they actually wound up opening. Looks like NASDAQ down 0.22. Dow down 0.13, S&P down 0.06. I call that pretty flat, to be honest with you. Not really anything to write home about either way. Crude oil, 79.50, so up 1.69%. Trump's kind of come out and signaled that he's just going to kind of let the, rather than big attacks, the narrative's kind of that he's just going to let the economic, keep blocking them off, cutting off their money. But we will see what happens there. But right now, now talk here in a minute. Saylor sold, BIP-20 fell miserably. Strategy up 95.39, up almost 0.5%. So I think Michael Saylor's plan, strategy, no pun intended, is working. SpaceX up 130, almost 132. Yeah, 132. Realized we had that big unlock last week. But that's what we call in the business, buy the rumor, sell the news. Dropped all the way down to like 110, and now it's back close to where it came out IPO. So I think that's pretty good. So cheers to you. Shout out to you if you're able to buy that dip. So normal markets, let's call them fairly flat. We'll check back in them with them. Our crypto markets, like I say, we were over 65 most of the night, most of the morning. I wouldn't be surprised if we get back there. Little dip now, 64,693. So officially we're down 0.6%. Ethereum 1900 even, down 1.2%. And you can see a lot of this just since the market opened. XRP, $1.02.50, down 1.3% for the day. XRP's definitely been lagging. Solana, 76.44, down 0.3. So Solana's been leading for sure. Robinhood seems to be doing okay over there. Cash Cat, 150 million, up almost 19% today. Ansem over there staying about flat, up about 2.5% today at almost 175 million. But I've seen a few runners on Robinhood. Today I'm seeing, last couple of days, looks like there's some of the stuff that's worked on Solana and Troll migrating over there. People are starting new versions of them. SPCX, Troll, stuff like that seem to be doing okay. I don't know if any of them have really blown up into the millions yet, but we'll see. That's something I've noticed today. But yeah, Cash Cat definitely. Wow. Look, I mean, if you look at Cash Cat, it was all the way down here for a long time. Like what, 36 million, 40 million, under about 45, 44 million, it seems like, for the longest time, and boom. Of course, that listing on Robinhood helped a lot, the regular Robinhood app. So Pretty solid return there. People are starting to find out about it. And like I say, um, our TBB Bitcoin Bull. Hey, Scott, happy Monday to you. Nice show you had today. My voice is better, but not totally better. So I'm just trying to talk quiet today. And I haven't really talked all weekend. So definitely better. But I think I talked too much last week when it was hurt. So hopefully I haven't done too permanent damage, but just trying to talk quiet today. Hopefully everyone can hear me. But yeah, the Bitcoin bull at 16 million. It was 18 to 20 million over the weekend. Jason did something cool yesterday, and second week in a row, pulls up and has a gratitude space, and then he goes through everyone on the space. And if you've been bull posting, working, taking part, running spaces, he's asked for us to run spaces. Of course, I do. We talk about it. We have it in our title for the space that Scott and I do coming up at the top of the hour. Yeah, people have been working, bag posting. He recognized he kind of keeps the spreadsheet, and he's now giving away, I think, 702,000. I think I have a slide on it. It's pretty significant, though, when you think about it. Of course, last Monday we had that huge drop to 47 million, but yeah, I think it's pretty good. The Bitcoin bull, the baby bull, which caused quite a bit of controversy, unfortunately, sitting at 114 million. The one I wanted to look at is our good friend Sikasa at Sikasa on X. He launched his token, and we're pretty close with them. It is called BAY. What is it called? No, I better look here. I should know that. There it is. Bayla. Okay. Bayla. So he has Sikasa, for those of you that don't know him. Sikasa has the Jungle Bay, a CTO he did. And they do a lot of graphic support artists. Been doing that for 5 years, funding it himself. So he now he launched this, on I think Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. After the show, I think it was Friday, right after the show, a couple hours. Anyway, he yeah, that's what it was. And anyway, went all the way up to what, 1.44 million. Now it kind of held the weekend, kind of held the first day around 1 million. Now it's sitting at 602. I got in like sub about 200, took some profit, and been buying, set some aside, been buying back in. I think I've already bought at this level. I'm gonna buy if it hits. I might even have bought at 545. I can't remember how low it got. Yeah, about 565. So I think I did buy lower. But anyway, he's someone who's going to be around. Builder. He's doing the. If you look at the holders, he's got. That's interesting how I'm pretty sure he has supply control, but maybe it's broken in different wallets for different things. When I look at that, the top wallets, 15% doesn't seem right. Anyway, he's going to do some stuff, kind of following Jason's model, kind of do some stuff people have been holding. Jungle Bay, I mean, like I said, I think that's a good long term. I'm obviously supporting a good dude in the space, always a peacemaker, always trying to do stuff. Gifted me one a few years ago. I bought a bunch too of the NFTs, and they're quite prevalent. A lot of people rock them. So anyway, wanted to support his Bayla. Jungle Bay is his NFT collection. So, and they have a Jungle Bay Island and everything. So really cool project, really cool guy out here, really base dev out here. So anyway, I'm holding that long term. Like I say, made some profits and also set some aside to buy the dip. So I'll continue to hold my bag. I don't know, it's a decent bag, but anyway, yeah. So that was kind of a cool thing that happened. over the weekend. Look at some of the news. Uh, Marathon Digital, they sold 1.6 billion in Bitcoin holdings. So if you think about it, man, back in the day that would have been huge. Now, Marathon Digital, they still hold, I think they still hold 2.3 billion. But I mean, selling 1.6 billion is a big chunk. Yet we're still holding here. So I think Bitcoin's nothing if not showing some resilience over the last. We also had Saylor sell today. We'll talk about, but man, I would say these guys now. What Marathon's doing is they're going over into they're buying a couple of like natural gas power plants and stuff. They're shifting over into energy and AI projects. So they'll be able to. They're still going to do Bitcoin mining. They still say it's one of their core holdings, but they're also going to do some AI data centers as well as on the energy side. So sounds like a pretty good plan. I don't know much about them recently, to be honest with you. Something I'd probably take a look at. Probably something I would own on the stock side if it's good, but I don't know. Probably have to talk to my boy off, see what he says. But interesting. Interesting. They're doing the shift, which is probably a good business model, especially owning the energy. Hoff came up years ago on my show and said, yeah, one of the ways to play high is through energy. So data centers, obviously. But anyway, they dumped all that, and Bitcoin's still around 65,000. So on BIP 110, which was a Bitcoin improvement protocol aimed for 1 year soft fork to curb non-financial data like inscriptions, keeping Bitcoin focused on sound money. But nobody supported it. So only two blocks were made. So failed terribly. So a lot of talk about that. Man, there's a lot of talk about BIP 110 went down in flames. But that's how the system works. Guess you could say the system worked. UK financial regulators are pushing to let companies use blockchain technology. The goal is to make trading and money management faster, cheaper, and safe for everyone. So they're moving in the right direction, but they're also all about their control and no free speech and that stuff. So they're trying to tag on. So I don't know that they're really a place for innovation and whatnot. Compared to, let's say, Singapore, Dubai, El Salvador, things like that. But then again, we failed. Now that we do have Tuesday, the 15th of September, there is a scheduled vote on the Clarity Act. So they did, before they left, at least they set that in stone, I guess. But if the U.S. will just miss out big time. This is my guy, Jason. So they've airdropped $712,070, 9,622 Solana, 9,622 Solana, or 10.95 Bitcoin. That's pretty cool, right? That's actually giving back the community. And if we look at that, that wallet still holds 67.82%. So having almost $11 million to go. So I think this is pretty cool and unique what he's doing, being very judicious about it. People have to earn. We're running spaces almost wall to wall, 2, 3, 4 spaces a day. You can come join us on those on X. Also, we have a Discord. I think there's 10,000 people in that Discord or something like that. I don't know if that sounds too high, but maybe it doesn't really say here. But anyway, also they just opened a Telegram. So be careful. You go to Jason's Going Parabolic, the real one, because there's fakes out there. He has 286,000. But anyway, we now have a Telegram and a Discord going strong. Some good people doing that, and a big partnership getting announced this week. We have the Cake Wallet partnership went live last week. In fact, all the giveaways that he gave, which was, I don't know, quite a bit, a total now of almost almost 11 Bitcoin he's given away back to the community, yet hasn't done it in such a way to trash the market. So pretty cool project he's going. I know he's taking a lot of work. He's also hinted that he has a top tier lifestyle brand that he's working on a deal with, and that he's flying to meet with Germany here in a week or two. So anyway, cool stuff. Trying to build almost a business-like model. Has all that money. Has 11 million. At the peak, it was 31 million. If it could, just to put it in perspective, if he gets to 100 million market cap, he'll have $68 million to give away to help fund this and whatnot. So we grind and we're continuing to work there. The socials help going out to other socials. But yeah, now have a presence on Discord. We're building a presence on Telegram. That's brand new to do all these ratings, all these different ways we can reach out. Looking to reach out on Facebook, Instagram, all these other models as well. So I think it's a good project. So check it out. It's cool that almost all that $712,000 already given back. Interesting. So Michael Saylor posts his orange dots. It used to mean he was buying, but he hasn't bought now in 7 or 8 weeks, right? So I didn't think he was going to buy. But it's funny now. Now listen, he doesn't even say he sells here, right? We'll look at other people to see what he sells, but it says Strategy increased its USD reserve by $650 million and repurchased 109 million shares of STRC. This increased the USD duration by 143 days. So he now has enough to pay the STRC dividend, that 12% dividend for 2.7 years, and lightens STRC's BTC credit by 10 basis points. So they now hold 840,447, $4.65 billion in their reserve. But notice how he doesn't say he sold. If you look at other reports, everyone else is saying basically he sold $108 million worth. So this is the third time he's made a major sale. So in now, I'd say 7 or 8 weeks, he hasn't bought. 3 times he's sold. He's not ever not done anything. The other times he's raised money through bonds or common share sales or something. But so he's now sold about $350 million worth of Bitcoin. So anyway, all their problems go away. When Bitcoin gets back above 75,000. So, he's just buying time, but it's working, in my opinion. It's working. Welcome, everyone that's listening live, by the way. Appreciate y'all being here and supporting the show. And don't forget, we have the GM Bitcoin Morning Show coming up. We talk about news. Lately, we've been talking a lot about TBB as well, because we called it in there at 152,000. So most of the people that are in there bought are up big time. And then a lot of people bought last week when it dipped to that crazy 4.7 million. Here's our guy, Scott Melker, Wolf of All Streets, saying, remember when people said STRC had to go to zero, that Saylor had to sell billions of Bitcoin to save his company, save Bitcoin. People were convinced he had to sell to avoid being forced to sell. Yeah. He's trading over $95. Their par's at $100. He can start buying again at $100 STRC. So I think he's done well. Honestly, better effect than I thought it would have at this point in the game. So, yeah, he's no dummy. He knows the volatility. He knows people can't stomach volatility. So he's figured out a way to remove the volatility. Huge week last week for inflows. 853 million inflows into Bitcoin. 693 million of that was BlackRock. So good week, man. Good week. So there is some strength. This was something very interesting. I wouldn't have guessed it was this high. Okay, this is historically looking back. 62% of the top 100 tokens die within 5 years. I think this is, man, I'm surprised it's that high. But then again, you can think of all the tokens that have come and gone. I guess what I would say is do research, do your own research and do a massive amount, and don't hold on to something too long if the narrative's dying. This is a kind of a wake-up call for me to look at this and say, wow, yeah, maybe you just need to own Bitcoin, a couple layer ones, you know. But anyway, that's surprising to me. But that just shows you how volatile, how new it is. Things we think are going to be great, Cardano, so many of these things we thought were going to be great just aren't here. Neo, you guys probably know about Neo. Geez, the other one, EOS, man, multi-billion dollar companies that don't really exist in any significant form today. Donald Trump says he signaled, by the way, you know, gas is up almost 2%, oil. President Trump signaled he's prepared to let economic pressure on Iran build rather than launch fresh military strikes, saying the U.S. was only semi-negotiating. So basically, some oil's getting through. They're now backing off a big strike, and they're just saying they're just going to let the economic pressure do its thing. So we'll see, but that's why gas has gone up a couple dollars. Still not horrible. So once again, managing it, playing it day by day. We'll see what happens there. Vivek Ramaswamy, his Strive company, just bought another $10 million worth of Bitcoin. So people are stepping up. Our biggest buyer, Saylor's gone. We had like Mira sell a ton, and yet we're still here at 60, close to 65,000. So a lot of people, like myself, if everything that's happened, I would have thought we'd be in the low 50s by now. So Bitcoin has proved to be, at least until now, more resilient than we thought. It's crazy. Wacko Bernie Sanders is urging OpenAI, Anthropic, and Meta to pause AI development, warning the U.S. Senate will intervene if companies fail to act. Stop building machines that humans cannot control, Sanders wrote to Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, and Mark Zuckerberg per Axios. Yeah, how about, why don't you send that warning to China, you dumbass? I mean, China's going ham invested in AI. There's an arms race going on. The last thing we can afford to do is let China kick our butts here, because, I mean, it can have a huge effect on military, everything, strategy. I mean, it's such a big thing. So we're in a full-blown arms race, much like the Cold War and the nuclear arms race in the 60s and 70s. So, yeah, let's cripple U.S. just like what you want to do with crypto. Yeah, let's cripple the U.S. and let China do their thing. More worthless politicians, him especially. On BitMine, added 7,391 Bitcoin last week, bringing its holding to 581. They continue to chug, continue to believe, continue to be able to raise money. So I'm not as big of an ETH fan, but I do believe he'll do well. I would rather be in Saylor's shoes, even though Saylor maybe got a little above his front, a little heavy in front of his, what do you say? A little forward on his skis or whatever, got a little too far forward, being a little too aggressive, but he seems to be able to bring it back here. Last article I wanted to leave here. Standard Chartered predicts Chainlink could hit $200 by 2030, driven by a projected $4 trillion tokenized asset market. Look, Chainlink just kind of does its thing, right? Doesn't do much, but it's one that I like to hold. I think everyone should hold. Geez, where is it? There it is. $8. But yeah, it's they're doing a lot of stuff. Everyone, not only in Oracle, but the things they're doing with tokenization. You probably ought to do some research on that. See, it's kind of mixed. Okay, Bitcoin continues to bleed down a little. We'll see where it ends. Still holding good, all things considered. So we'll see what happens. CPI out Wednesday. PPI out Thursday. sometimes that data is more important than others. We already had unemployment not looking good. Employment itself not looking good, right? So the odds of a rate hike have gone way, way, way down to about 50-50 from about 80 something percent. But Warsh did signal that he would raise if inflation gets out. So it's some weeks that's more important. I would say this week it's very important because it could be the difference between nothing happening or a rate hike. So right now we're not pricing a rate hike. It's kind of a coin toss. So let's watch that data, see what happens. Let's hope we can just kind of stay around these things moving this week. Playing around little meme coins, keeping an eye on, very little liquidity. So you're working for your liquidity and yeah, there's not a lot of liquidity in the space and not a lot of new people coming in. So it's kind of a zero-sum game at this point. But anyway, come join us over on the GM Bitcoin Morning Show. We'll talk some more. We'll talk some TBB, get some more voices. You'll see Scott over there. But anyway, thanks for joining me, everyone. Appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow to see how the week's playing out. But